listen to sports scientists, fine, sports scientists is there, sports science is there for marginal gains, but it doesn't mean you just throw out the big picture. The big picture is Rangers had 3 games to turn their entire season around. And he and his sports scientist decided that because Cyril Dessers had a full tank, that he should start the game at Fir Park. It is mad. In fact, it's beyond madness. That is these decisions, everything that's just happened there, taken in isolation, it's a sackable offence. What's happened over the last 2 games, totally sackable offence. And so if I was Patrick Stewart and I had an idea in my head about how I wanted things to progress and, you know, hoping things might stabilise, well, this has just thrown everything up in the air. And then, so if I'm Patrick Stewart, I'm thinking, oh my God, what if he gets a win against Celtic? Does that mean that I'm not empowered to do what I think needs to happen? If he does think that, does it further complicate it? Does it just muddy the waters of Rangers' victory? Would it be more of a mercy killing now at this point for Clement to lose the game, perhaps heavily, and for it to be a real black and white decision on Thursday night, Friday morning?
I mean, Mick, do we accept that if Celtic do win, as I think a lot of us would tip them to, say they win 2 or 3-0 at Ibrox, is that it for Clement? Because, as you say, Keith, that would make it kind of straightforward. But there's been, 5 or 6 opportunities when you would have thought Clement would have been gone by now, and he's still there.
But they didn't have anybody in position to sack him.
True.
Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, we did the show after the United game, and by all accounts, that had been the final straw for most managers in that position. But the vacuum of power at the top of the Rangers meant that he survived to get this mini revival that didn't last particularly long. Rangers got a problem now because it's now going into January. The manager looks too far gone. I know you're talking about they get a result against Celtic. If they get a result against Celtic, it'll be a result because of the low averages.
But it changes nothing, Mike.
This is exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't change anything. The league title, it's 14 point gap. It goes down to 11 or whatever. It's like I mean, the prospect of Celtic dropping points in another 4 or 5 games. They've only dropped 4 points all season. Lost 2 games in a calendar year. Not going to happen. So I think Rangers could go and win the game on Thursday. I mean, they'll probably play like a basketball match again and hope that they're on the right side of the kind of a wild result. I don't think they can go toe to toe with Celtic, try and play them the same way played at Hampden either. So it could be another wild night afternoon. So it could go either way. I mean, I think it could. It's a one-off game. It doesn't change the bigger picture. But the problem Rangers have got is now it's January. There's no money to spend. It's going to cost money to empty out the manager and his coaching staff. And
his medical scientists.
I mean, the whole shooting match. So you're left with a guy on gardening leave again, drawing money out every month until whenever he gets another gig down the line. So they probably need to appoint someone short-term from within. There's no money to go and strengthen the squad for the second half of the season. They're already having to go and get loans to get to the end of this season, as they have done in recent years. So January's not a window unless they're really creative and they can kick the can down the line for kind of loans with right to buys and all this kind of stuff. But that's tricky. Are you going to trust the manager with that again? And Niels Coppin after the last window or so? I don't know. These are big decisions that Patrick Stewart and the board are going to have to make very, very soon. Do they write off the season and hold just in a kind of holding pattern and say, right, we'll spend the next 5 months. We know it's too far gone. We know that the manager's going to be going at some point. We've got a few months now to just buy ourselves time to figure out what we're doing for the summer. Because I don't think there's any way back in terms of league. They might pick off the Scottish Cup at the end, I guess. But listen, at some point they have to decide, is this guy going to be the long-term manager of Rangers? It looks too far gone. No Rangers manager survives that kind of gap at this stage of the season for other reasons other than football performances. So this is what they do. Do they stick or do they twist? Do they stick and take their time to find the next guy and the next structure and so on? Or do they put him in garden leave just now and deal with someone internally, put Alec Ray, carrying the can to the summer or whatever? Big decisions. None of them particularly appealing to Rangers, to be honest with you.
Yeah, do you know the problem they've got with all that? And I hear what you're saying, Michael. The problem they've got is that by being seen to do nothing, they'll be looked upon as part of the problem because the support is at a point of no return. They've had enough of Clement. They want him out. And the anger will transfer back to the boardroom if no decision is made.
Yeah.
And if Patrick Stewart wants to try and bring these fans with him and show the supporters that he's at the wheel here, he's got, full responsibility, he's got the full mandate. That's about the best worst case scenario for Rangers, if you know what I mean. Because at least the supporters have somebody that they can look to as a figurehead and a decision maker, and someone who realises that they need to re-engage with the support as a base, because by doing nothing and allowing this malaise to get worse and worse, that'll have collateral damage along the way, and it will affect Patrick Stewart's relationship and his standing with the supporters, because I think what they need right now and what they're looking for right now is to see signs that they've got a man of action in the boardroom at the helm.
Yeah, but getting a new manager in right now is, and saying to the guy, listen, you need to come in, you need to rescue this season, you've got no money to spend, we don't know what's going to happen in the summer, you need to empty these folk out first before you can buy any new players. That's a hard sell just now, isn't it? For any? So you're talking interim manager for the rest of the season. So you're writing the season off anyway, aren't you? So I don't think there's any palatable options for Rangers right now. I know what you're saying.
I think if they stick, I think the anger and resentment will build.
It would get toxic, wouldn't it? Well, it is already getting toxic.
It is toxic already, yeah. And just wait and see how toxic it gets if Celtic bring their A game to Ibrox on Thursday.
Yeah.
And see, just on the game on Thursday, one of the comments on YouTube which made me tickle, Mick's still on the Xmas bender. No chance Rangers are winning. Says there's more chance I get Zendaya at my door for the new year. But just to go,
what am I missing?
What's a Zendaya?
The actress Zendaya, no, is that not ringing any bells? No?
Oh, see, that's used to be. I thought it was some sort of heartburn medicine. I could do with some of that.
Well, look, to get away from Zendaya and back onto the game, am I right in saying she's in Spider-Man in that? She goes out with the guy that plays Spider-Man.
Oh,
June, and the June films as well.
Terry and June.
That Terry, that's it.
That's more
dinosaurs.
But Keith, am I right in saying I've understood you correctly when I say that if Rangers win on Thursday, that is arguably the worst result for them in the long term?
Well, it could be if it means that they kick the big Clement decision further down the road. I think this needs to be addressed. It needs to be nipped in the bud. I honestly, the two team selections that he's just put out there for two games that Rangers had to win to have any chance of clawing this campaign back and making themselves genuinely competitive in the league, he has absolutely botched both of them. And he knows that himself. It doesn't require me to say that. You know it when you see a manager having to do carry out running repairs during both half-time intervals because his starting selection was wrong. And as we said, if this was all based upon sports science and people going into the red zone, well, it was Clement that was in the red zone. And he's stuck there now. It's permanent.